Judged by his own high and consistent standards, last season was far from a vintage one for Philip Hobbs, both in terms of number of winners and overall win and place prize money. But it's not just the good horses a trainer needs, it's a slice of luck as well. And for many parts of the season, luck deserted Philip last season. He lost his main novice hurdle hope Cheltanian before the season had even started with a tendon injury. And then some of the potentially high-class novice chasers, Minora and Duke of Lucca for example, well, they ended up producing the goods in the spring, but it took them a little bit of time to click over fences. And amongst the highest rated chasers in the yard, Captain Chris and Wishful Thinking, well, amazingly, they failed to produce a single win between them, although of course they did put up some good placed efforts. But balanced against that, there were of course plenty of high points. Fingal Bay did confirm himself one of the best staying novices, and just got beaten the once at Aintree, but was very, very high class. And then of course, as I said, Minora did eventually come good with a Grade 1 win over fences at Aintree. And there was also Cheltenham Festival glory over the cross-country fences for Balthazar King. Well, looking ahead to the season, Philip is ever the realist, and he sums it up like this. He says, basically, a top trainer needs the Grade 1 horses to take to the Grade 1 races. He reckons he's got 4 or 5 obvious candidates this season. He sees the likes of Nicky Henderson and Paul Nicholls have 3 times that number, and so he knows that he's really got to pull his finger out to stay amongst the top 5 or 6 trainers. Well, of the top rated ones, Minora is certainly the horse with the potential to increase his rating this season. And we'll know in the Holden Gold Cup how he is in the handicap, and it'll be very interesting to see whether he goes down the 2-mile route and bumps into Sprinter Sacra or goes back up to 2.5 miles. And Fingal Bay, surely he'll be very, very interesting to follow this season. We should know by Christmas time whether he's going to make up into a 3-miler and an RSA Chase Hope, or if he doesn't quite get that trip, then he can always come back in trip to 2.5 miles, in which case I'm sure he'd end up in the Grade 1 Jewson at the Cheltenham Festival. Interesting, after a morning down here at Sand Hill with a horse like Fingal Bay, it only goes to show how he's not a great worker at home. Philip always rates his horses on a scale of 1 to 10 for their gallops work, with 1 being the quickest and 10 being the slowest. And I can tell you that Fingal Bay is on a 9, and so you can see that there aren't many horses that he actually beats here at home, but he obviously saves his very best for the racecourse. Well, looking ahead at the novice hurdlers for this season, the ex-point-to-pointers and some of the bumper horses have yet to be really tried this autumn, but the one that's very much at the top of the pile at the moment is Village Vic, who we know had high-class bumper form last year. Best judged on his Newbury listed second rather than what he did either at Cheltenham or Punchestown. He was a little bit over the top by then, but there's big things expected of him in novice hurdles. And other horses that have struck out this morning, I think Balthazar King should go on a short list for the Grand National, especially on good ground, and it'll be very interesting to see if he creeps in to the bottom of the Grand National weights when they come out in February. And a couple of other handicappers who have done particularly well physically over the summer, Princely Player and Talk on the Street. I think both of them should pay to follow.